You don't always get to choose in this life, win and lose in this life, but I'ma prove in this life, we can move in this life. Can't change up, my team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up, my team too real, so we stay up.
All susceptible for growth. So commit yourself to become better. You will unleash all your potential and step into a power that can alter your life. Great leadership comes from the overflow of leading yourself greatly. That's why true leadership is an inside job. So in December 2019, my dad lost his battle to addiction. I was 40 years old, and I had spent a lifetime believing the lies I told myself that I wasn't good enough and I didn't matter. My struggles in college, my failure in the Army, and in my career made it hard for me to believe that I would succeed really at anything anymore. So I took the advice of a friend and signed up for a retreat. Now, my buddy didn't tell me anything about the retreat. He told me it was like Fight Club, and they didn't talk about Fight Club. So in blind faith, I showed up to Deckers, Colorado on January 17th, 2020. I came in with imposter syndrome because I believed all those voices in my head that said that I wasn't nothing. At the retreat, I was given an opportunity to wrestle with God over that identity. What I wanted from the retreat was not to feel less than anymore. If I stopped believing that lie that I was less than, I would have confidence and I would believe in myself. And while I considered wrestling with God, I thought about what was blocking me from that confidence. The answer was crystal clear. It was the bullies that tormented me growing up. I flashed back to the schoolyard. I vividly saw how many there were. There were 3 of them. I could hear what they said. I heard their voices. They got louder and louder. They said, "You're a loser. You're worthless. We don't want you around." I envisioned them all around me, shouting those comments at me. This time I wasn't on the schoolyard. I was a spectator. "You're a loser. You're worthless. We don't want you around." Tears started running down my face as I watched those messages form an identity in me at an age where I just wanted to belong and I wanted to be loved. And at that moment, I knew more than anything I've ever known that the scene that I was witnessing needed to change. The bullies needed to go. "You're a loser. You're worthless. We don't want you around." And I harnessed a lifetime of anger. And mentally, I shoved them out of the schoolyard of my mind forever. And right before I shoved those lies out of my mind, I thought about what was at risk if I got rid of those messages. They served me in some way, or I wouldn't have held on to those messages. I wouldn't have let them hold me back for so long. And it came to me, I couldn't play the victim anymore. I'd have to take a risk. And there's a chance I could risk failing. But I was willing to take that risk. I was willing to take that risk. And I shoved those messages out of my life forever. And I felt free. I felt for the first time in my life I was good enough. So I went and found a mirror. And I looked at that mirror and I said to that mirror, I said, "I'm good enough. I'm good enough." Tears streamed down my face. My entire life, I'd been locked in a self-imposed prison, a prison where I was the warden and the CO. And the whole time I was in prison, I held the key. For the first time in my childhood, I was free of shame and no longer shackled by the lies that I had told myself. I dried my tears and I looked in the mirror again and I said, "You are good enough." I was fixated on my eyes this time because I saw that they had changed. There was a glow in them that I had never seen before. I didn't know the man in the mirror. I looked into his eyes and I said again, "You're good enough." I believed it all the way down to my core. The BS holding me back was no more. I had a new identity. My mission now is to help people find their true identity. So if you have your phone, pull your phone out. and then turn it on, your camera on, like you were going to take a selfie. I don't know anyone's particular story here, but I know I asked some questions, and there's a possibility that maybe one of those questions made you think about a time earlier in your life that you'd be willing to maybe potentially consider digging further. I want you to think back about before that time when you thought you were limitless and believed anything was possible, before the lies, the hurts, and the shame. I want you to try to silence any of that BS. I want you to look in that mirror, that camera, and tell that little boy or girl that you are worthy, you are loved, and you deserve it, because you are. Because you are. To tell the person next to you, speaker focus, that you are worthy. Each and every one of you in this room deserve greatness. And I want you to know that every one of you, no matter your hurts, your mistakes, or your diagnosis, you can accomplish anything and have a life beyond your wildest dreams. I've always have a heart for hurting people, especially those struggling with serious mental illness. And what I know now is the bridge between serious mental illness and massive success is a short one. I've crossed it. Come join me.
Can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this side, yeah, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this side, yeah. Is everyone down for the mission? Everyone down for the mission. Is everyone down for the mission? We had a dream and we'll get it. We had a dream and we'll